What secrets did the king of rock and roll take to his grave? And what shadow did they cast on a generation? Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, stood atop the pinnacle of fame in the 1970s. Yet behind his glittering Las Vegas performances was a man isolated and heavily medicated. The pressures of his stardom took a visible toll, his health declining in front of millions. Elvis's story ended tragically, a cautionary tale of how fame, when unchecked, can consume even a king. As the curtain fell on the groovy era, the darker side of fame left its indelible mark. Jim Jones emerged as a charismatic leader, preaching equality and hope in the turbulence of the 1970s. But the People's Temple, once a sanctuary for the disillusioned, began to transform into something far more sinister. The whispers of manipulation and paranoia culminated in the Jonestown Massacre of 1978, where over 900 lives were lost in a chilling act of devotion and despair. Fame, in Jones's case, became a deadly weapon, his name forever tied to one of history's greatest tragedies. Dennis Wilson rode here as the drummer of the Beach Boys, riding the wave of California sound and sunshine. Yet his life became entangled with darkness when he befriended Charles Manson, unaware of the horrors that lay ahead. The psychological scars of his association with Manson haunted him throughout the decade, casting shadows over his music and his soul. Fame couldn't protect Wilson from the demons that followed, a reminder that even in paradise, darkness can grow. Andy Warhol lived for the limelight, his art redefining pop culture and fame itself. Yet in 1968, a near-fatal shooting by Valerie Solanas left him scarred physically and emotionally. Surviving the attack, Warhol grew withdrawn, his obsession with mortality evident in the darker undertones of his work. Beneath the vibrant veneer of Campbell's soup cans and Marilyn Monroe portraits lay a man increasingly gripped by fear, his public persona masking the fragility of life behind closed doors. In the glittering haze of the 1970s, fame dazzled like a kaleidoscope of dreams. But behind the golden facade often lay shadows darker than anyone could imagine. Roman Polanski, a director celebrated for his artistry, faced an unimaginable tragedy when his pregnant wife, Sharon Tate, was brutally murdered by the Manson family in 1969. The decade that followed saw Polanski's life unravel amidst a scandal and criminal accusations. His once bright star tarnished as the weight of grief and controversy consumed him. John Lennon, once a Beatle adored worldwide, retreated from the roaring crowd in search of peace. But the 1970s brought paranoia, alienation, and relentless government surveillance. Struggling to reconcile his fame with his ideals, Lennon faced a decade of inner turmoil, his music increasingly reflecting his desire for a simpler, quieter existence. Yet even in his withdrawal, Lennon's legacy endured, his voice bridging the gap between personal struggle and universal truth. Marlon Brando was an icon, his performances redefining acting for a generation. But the 1970s saw his personal life spiral out of control. Family tragedies and his retreat from public life revealed a man increasingly distrustful of Hollywood and its promises. While his talent remained undeniable, the cracks in his personal world cast long shadows over his career, leaving the legend of Brando bittersweet. Jack Nicholson was the epitome of Hollywood cool, his smirk and swagger dominating screens. But fame wasn't immune to seismic revelations. During the height of his career, Nicholson discovered that the woman he thought was his sister was, in fact, his mother, a truth that forever altered his sense of identity. His friendship with Roman Polanski further thrust him into controversy, as whispers of scandal swirled around them both. For Nicholson, fame brought as much confusion as it did adoration. Natalie Wood was a beloved star, her presence lighting up the silver screen. Yet her life ended in mystery during a weekend boat trip in 1979, an unsolved tragedy that has haunted Hollywood for decades. Under the glitter of fame was a woman whose untimely death raised more questions than answers. her final moments shrouded in speculation. Wood's story remains an enduring enigma, a reminder of how fame can blur the line between truth and myth. Karen Carpenter's voice was pure, her melodies uplifting a nation during the groovy era. But behind the soothing ballads was a young woman locked in a quiet battle with anorexia nervosa, a disorder few understood at the time. Her struggles remained hidden, even as her fame soared, and by the time the world realized the extent of her pain, it was too late. Her haunting story became a cautionary tale, echoing the dangers of fame's suffocating pressure. Subscribe for more groovy stories.